is. We are live.
All right, we are live. It's the Spinning Back Fist MMA show for Tuesday, May 28th, UFC 302 edition, UFC 302 preview. It is Robbie Fox, Big Ev, and Jack Mack, and we are here presented by New Amsterdam Vodka, as always. New Amsterdam Vodka, the best in the biz. We've got it in front of us. Find your wins with New Amsterdam. They're the official vodka of Barstool Sports. They're the official vodka of the UFC, and they knock out the competition. It's the smoothest stuff. It's the best bang for your buck. From Pink Whitney to their normal product. You see the little, what do they call them? Nips? Is that what you call them? Nips. The nips are everywhere. I see nips and all around the office, obviously, because they're the official vodka of Barstool Sports. But everywhere you go, you see people with New Amsterdam. It's because it's the best in the biz. We thank them for sponsoring the show. They'll be sponsoring UFC 302 this weekend in Newark, and we'll all be there, right?
Oh, yeah, we'll be there.
Very excited. I'm going to be getting in there like last minute. I'm flying back from Chicago. I think I land in Newark at 3 p.m. So I'm going to stop by my apartment, change, and head right to Newark.
Well, you'll have some time then. Early prelims probably won't start till like 6:30.
Yeah, all right. I'll have some time.
Probably 6:30. We were just talking about there's only like 12 fights in the card.
Yep, true.
So probably like 6:30, I'd guess.
That's a good point. I will have more time then.
I didn't think realistically you get there by like 8.
Yeah.
You'll be like for like prelims. The early prelims aren't. I actually think the first fight of the night will be pretty good. The Raposo Lima.
Oh, yeah.
But I think the car good prelims.
You can't miss Eileen Perez against Jocelyn Littlewood. I mean, that's a revenge fight.
And what about the return of Mickey Gall, Jersey's own?
Jersey's own. But yeah, I'll be there. Everyone will be there. Shall be fun.
Mark my words, by the way. Mickey Gall's going to get a big pop this weekend. Jersey, they really do love Mickey Gall.
He's going to get a big pop?
Bro, I think Mickey Gall is going to get a big pop. Like, you know, the arena's not going to be full, but the people in the arena are going to go crazy for Mickey Gall.
I actually agree with you because the people that are there are like true fans.
Yep.
And they'll know he's from Jersey. And the people that are there, either New York, New Jersey, and even like New York people will kind of ride for Jersey people if it's not a competition.
The tri-state area.
They also, I mean, when they brought him into the UFC, the whole thing was he went and he was Dana was like looking for a fight, and he was like 0-0 or like 1-0 or something.
Yeah.
And there was just a bunch of fans there for him, and he was like who is this guy?
Yeah.
And then he called out CM Punk, and that was it.
Yeah, and then
that was how he got signed.
Greatest call
fought
out
Mike Johnson for the right to fight CM Punk. And I'll never forget. I'm watching this. I'm like, as a CM Punk fan, I'm like, who is my guy going to face? Mickey Gall or Mike Johnson? Mickey Gall starched Mike Johnson in 2 seconds, and they brought Punk in for a face-off, and I was like, oh, I think my guy's in trouble. I was like, immediately you saw Mickey Gall, and I feel like maybe the UFC didn't even know how good he was at the time. Not that he's, a champion-level fighter, but you're taking a 40-year-old pro wrestler who's never even trained MMA, and you're throwing him to the wolves with Mickey Gall. And yeah, he was thrown to the wolves.
He can at least legit grapple, especially compared to a guy like you said.
That's
essentially the way I call it, off the couch.
I mean, he had a real camp at Rufus Sport, but like he's 40 and he never trained before.
To me, I guess that's my like long-term version of off the couch.
Yeah.
He has an MMA. He started MMA when he was 38, 39.
Yeah. That's something that'll never happen again.
No. And Dana has like brought that example up. Like he's like, no disrespect to Punk, but like we leaned a little bit too much into a circus aspect with that.
Yeah.
And especially putting him on the main card and stuff.
And it wasn't like he really had any, I mean, obviously he had the wrestling professional wrestling, but it's like even the guys they bring in, you could say, oh, whatnot.
I remember him getting a crazy purse too.
They have wrestling backgrounds at least. Punk was, I mean, he was a professional entertainer, amazing in what he does. He just wasn't a MMA fighter.
So would you consider, like you brought up, like having like a loose wrestling experience? Like, would you consider like you think a Logan Paul has like any chance of like something like that happening? I think he's the unique where maybe it could happen.
I think he does actually.
They'd say like he's this big star. Obviously, I think he could bring in buys.
And Dana likes him.
And I think he likes him. They do Prime.
Yeah.
I think he's the kind of guy that people would be interested to see him fight in that in the cage.
The only thing with
he was like he came 5th in the state in wrestling, which is compared to the guys he's fighting. I understand is not a crazy accolade, but just for record that he's not just some like.
And he's at least
boxed too. So I really
he has some sort of experience in it.
But I wouldn't compare him to Punk at all.
Yeah, he like Logan Paul at this point is more like I feel like people would accept that more than they did Punk. Like he's an
100%.
athlete. He's been in combat sports before. He does have a little bit of a wrestling background. Whereas
Yeah.
Punk, it was just kind of like this guy from
Punk.
fake
I
wrestling.
mean, Punk
He
was like an
also-
old, like a guy that came up through the indie scene and then became like a legend in wrestling. Like he had no just pedigree at all.
It also says, and I believe this is true, he had a base purse of 500 grand, no win bonus, no nothing like that, just 500, and a percentage of pay-per-view. He had pay-per-view
Wow.
funds, which is crazy. So them giving him up all that, like when you're paying a guy that much, I guess you have to put him on the main card, but oh my God, it pissed off every fighter that was on the prelims under him.
Well, and if the Logan Paul thing ever did happen, I think it would be more than that.
Oh
100%.
yeah, yeah,
His
probably.
base would have to be higher, and
It'd
he's
have to be.
definitely getting
Yeah,
a cut.
you're right.
He wouldn't do it without it. It wouldn't make
Yeah.
sense to him.
That's wild to think back that was only a couple years ago. But we are here to talk UFC 302 today. Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier. We're going to interview Islam later today, which is kind of crazy. It came out of nowhere, the interview opportunity. We got 15 minutes with him. We'll see how that goes. Not in person. It'll be via Zoom.
And we'll post tonight probably. I mean, why not? It'll be easy. I have some questions planned. It'll be interesting. I mean, obviously he's probably in a weight cut and he probably has a lot of media, but hopefully he'll warm up to us a little bit.
I'm not going to lie. There is part of me that's like, McGregor follows me on all social media. Like, what if he sees that I'm interviewing Islam?
I did today as I was in the gym and I was just planning out questions in my head. I was like, what if he goes on here and it's like he just
Like,
looks at
Conor?
Robbie and he's just like,
Does he know me? No way.
and he's just like, not like that would honestly be pretty good for
No
us.
good,
be
brother.
great for
That'd
us,
be
yeah.
great. That'd be actually the best case scenario.
That
I
would
think.
be pretty good. There's no way though. I would say no way he knows what I look
Yeah.
like or who I am.
I think there's a chance. There's a world.
I don't think Islam. I don't think he's like on. Is Islam like on Twitter?
No, Ali is.
True. Yeah.
Maybe Ali.
I wonder if he'll be on the Zoom. He might be.
Ali, maybe.
Where's your green jumpsuit, brother?
No
green jumpsuit this time.
That'd be funny.
Ali, imagine Ali gets one. He's like, no, Ben McGregor, we're not doing this.
Ali's like been in the room with me for a few interviews, post all that stuff, and like I never like knew if he knew. When we were at the old office, he brought in Kamaru Usman the day that he got that hat that he would always wear afterwards,
Yeah.
the red Barstool hat, and we were in that little radio room. 4 people at the table. It was like me, Large, Usman, and Ali. And Ali wore headphones the whole time and like took a call mid-interview, which I thought was so strange. But
He's just a businessman.
he is a business guy. He had like, you know, the multiple phones, I think. He has like
Multiple Twitter accounts.
he does have like an agent vibe about him. He's
I
like
think
always
that's
moving and changing and doing something.
I still think of Ali PFL when he just became Coach Ali,
Coaching
for
Kayla
Kayla.
Harrison.
And then the New York Sports Athletic Commission was like, you cannot do
They looked
that.
over, they were get back to that side. You can't just walk into the corner and start coaching.
He was like following her where she was in the
Yeah.
cage. Like,
which is just like mega illegal,
Yeah.
that was so funny. But
that was
I feel like Ali probably doesn't like you. Like at this point, he definitely remembers you, but he probably doesn't care much.
no, I don't think he cares.
it's been a long time.
I also think there's part of Ali that like he talks so much shit on behalf of so many
He
fighters
sells fights,
that I think part of him be like, I get it. You're just trying to get clicks.
yeah.
You know?
and also you haven't continued your hate on Habib. It
No.
was more like you were writing for McGregor.
Yeah. It was just fight camp stuff, you know? Speaking of McGregor, he had a weekend. He had a good weekend.
Sure did. Looks like it.
Total casual weekend. Surprised people even made a big deal out of this.
Being a husband,
he just went out with the mother of his children. They had fun.
Gave her a little smoochy smooch.
Was
What's-
smooching a
what's
little
the-
bit. Didn't look like he was drinking. Looked like he was dead sober. You know, no drinks in his hands in any of those videos. His wife was drinking. D Devlin, she's allowed to drink. She doesn't have a fight coming up, but people saying, "Oh my God!" Even Big Cat tweeted, "What McGregor? Does fight camp start Monday?" Fight camp has been running. Everything's normal. Ryan Garcia just proved you could party during
Did you
fight
see
camp,
he
and
was-
you're fine.
I posted on spinning today, but yesterday he was working out.
Oh, of
see him
course,
with
I
saw
saw that. Yeah,
big,
The deadlift.
Yeah, he was
was
like throwing
ripping-
it.
he was
And
ripping
it was a
deadlifts.
big. It was a big plate. Like it wasn't the small one. It was
I'm
like a
not-
big. It looked like a wheel.
I'm not worried. I saw Michael Chandler.
McGregor
today.
fast.
Michael Chandler's just like on Twitter all the time. You could say something about that. Oh, he's on Twitter all the time.
Yeah, he's running the Ryan Garcia play.
There you go.
Executed to perfection.
Perfection so far. You know,
You want to know what
fingers
he's doing it
crossed.
for? It's for people. If you want to bet McGregor, you get that line down.
Exactly.
Get the line up. Excuse me.
I wonder if.
I did see a lot of people saying, by the way, you can get Michael Chandler minus 105 right now.
Oh, come on. if videos like this continued to come out before the fight, do you think it would really affect the line?
No.
It's tough because McGregor's a little different. I think like just so many people just will want to bet him because he's
Yeah.
the biggest star. I always remember like in betting stuff, like say like teams like the Chiefs or like whoever, like they're always like, to me like a little overvalued because everyone just wants to bet him. I think McGregor's got a little bit of that. Like you just the casual fans that tune in will want to bet McGregor. He's gonna get a ton of action no matter what the line is, no matter what anything it really, no matter who's fighting.
His KO line will get a lot. It'll be interesting to see how that, because there's very rarely fights like this that the line is kind of dictated by the public a little bit, because most MMA fights, the line movement is definitely dictated by like big time bettors or big time betting groups, syndicates that are moving lines. But this is so public. It's almost like the Super Bowl. Like you couldn't really like, I think honestly, if anything, the line will move towards McGregor a little bit more just from public action, but who knows? Maybe it'll just stay in that -110 range.
Is that what it is right now?
Yeah,
it's been
Basically
pretty much a
pick 'em?
pick on most of the time.
Well, it's like moved a little bit, but it should be I mean, geez, it's so close. It
I
is
know.
so close. And
5
also,
weeks,
I
some change.
posted on Instagram today, June is loaded.
I was gonna.
Is it a month from tomorrow?
If you just look at the June layout of the, I'll pull it up just so you can like read it just off the top. But
If you, it's on,
it's special.
Instagram.
I have it. It's special. Like just the 5 cards going in June. 5. Obviously, you have Makhachev Poirier this weekend.
Yep.
You have Cannonier Imavov next weekend in Louisville. So live fight night crowd. Yep. Alex Perez, Tara, that's obviously a massive fight for Tara. And I think if Perez gets a big win, especially a finish, I think he's somehow, you wake up 8 months later, he's back in the title picture.
100%.
Yeah.
People thought he was like Dunzo. Then the 22nd, you have Whitaker Chimaev live in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, that card is
insane
stacked.
and incredible fight night main event.
Yeah.
Could be a pay-per-view main event. I think Chimaev is that big of a star and Whitaker that big of a dance partner. And then you ended off
with a 5-round fight?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you ended off with McGregor Chandler. All those 5 cards, all in June.
Is it crazy?
Incredible month of MMA. Incredible.
The most anticipated fight there is Whitaker Chimaev.
I think it is crazy.
I think
to
for
say.
real fight fan, like
maybe for
hardcore
hardcores, yeah.
But obviously, McGregor's return is everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that Whitaker Chimaev's crazy.
Dude, awesome.
Man. That is.
And especially seeing the 3, even just going the 3-rounder with Usman and the way he faded in the 3rd round and Usman started to take over. Now you're getting like a legit 185er who's fought everybody, beaten basically everybody but Adesanya. Obviously had the DDP loss, but have fought the who's who forever.
I'm big time in his corner there too, Bobby Knuckles.
I mean, I just think like going off that, like people are going to be very excited to see. Like,
why you big time?
I love Robert Whitaker. I would love to see him just be that guy.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
he's been that guy before. Yoel Romero, when he faced him and stuff, people were like, Yoel's going to take his head off. He's been that guy people doubted, and the big hype train tries to beat, and he stopped that before. I would love to see him do it.
There's part of me that it's like I love Whitaker so much, and I like both of them a lot. There's something about me though that almost wants to see Chimaev win just so we get like I think he just fights no matter who wins the DDP Adesanya fight. I know it hasn't been announced yet.
Yeah,
that's 100% going to be the main event for the Perth card. 305 or what is it? 305? Yeah, 305 in August. I just think Whitaker versus whoever wins that fight will just be Chimaev will be such a massive fight. Whoever, if it's Adesanya, huge. I would DDP huge. Just an incredible fight.
What's crazy about the Chimaev aspect is I don't think we're gonna get him in America anytime soon.
Doesn't sound like it.
Probably
because
not.
Also, what's his name? I saw a quote from him this weekend. The Chechen dictator. He said something that was just like, I saw an MMA guy quote too. It's like Chimaev's not fighting America anytime soon.
Yeah,
unless he like disassociates with him, and like Chimaev posts with him a lot. So it would be interesting if DDP retains. Would he have to go to Saudi or to fight?
Like
Chimaev?
You have to go to where the challenger is. Yeah,
but the only thing there would be
Chimaev can fight outside of Saudi, right? Just not
those countries like aren't gonna like be supportive of him. Like maybe Russia.
What about like would he be? What if they
South Africa? No,
that's what I was gonna ask. Like,
I don't think so. Maybe because it would be such a big event for South Africa that they would consider it.
And obviously having like a home for their first homegrown champion.
Yeah, so maybe. But I think South Africa is just as as I know South Africa, he probably wouldn't be. But South Africa has gone against the chain, the chain of like what the rest of the world is doing. So you never know. But he wouldn't be able to fight like in London.
Yeah, no.
That's the only good. I mean, the fact they've invested so much, though, it sounds like they're gonna get like more cards.
True.
It's almost like they're
the
setting
$40
up for a
million.
Chimaev
Yeah,
fight.
yeah, true.
But the only thing there is like DDP would kind of be at a disadvantage.
So the only thing is, I mean, Islam. I know he's going up and away. Islam did it for like the Volkanovski fight, the first one.
True.
Like Volkanovski was technically
he
was the champion but challenger at 155, and he went to Australia first time.
Yeah.
So maybe they would do it.
Yeah, true.
And
also
I
big
think
money.
That's what I was just gonna say. DDP, I think, would have to know business wise.
Yeah.
Chimaev would be like a much bigger. Like if he beats Adesanya, his star only goes through the roof even more. Then you get to fight like one of probably the other biggest star in the division now. Like that's a massive.
Singapore is a good point. From Ethan.
Maybe Singapore, yeah.
Maybe Singapore would be
Okay.
possible. But you are right. Those Saudi cards are so like they've invested so much in, and also if Chimaev beats Whitaker, they'll probably want that Chimaev.
And obviously he could do. They've been doing Abu Dhabi too. Like obviously he could do that.
Yeah. Fight Island. Yeah.
So you think it might just be a quick turnaround, but if they're fighting, if they did like October, I feel like that'd be too fast.
I mean, his early career, he was able to turn around like week by week.
DDP though, but he's fighting.
DDP, you're saying, yeah.
And he turned it down once.
True.
He turned it down to accept just getting a challenger spot.
Yeah.
So now you really like if you win,
you probably put it in a January or February because March is Ramadan for Chimaev and also, and we'll get to this, we're kind of all over the place right now, but like if Strickland wins this weekend, what do you do with Strickland?
Yeah.
I mean, he lost a split decision that the head of the company said, hey, I think he won this. And then if DDP beats Izzy, then it's like they probably go Chimaev, right? But Strickland kind of deserves that. And if Izzy beats DDP, Strickland already beat Izzy.
Yeah.
And then would they do Izzy Chimaev instead? I mean, Strickland could end up getting screwed. I mean, I think he's already, I don't want to say screwed, but like, I mean, that's just what I'm thinking of because like he's in a weird spot. He's the number one contender right now. If he wins this weekend again, it's like, what
does he have to do?
I'm saying from the rankings perspective, not the actual.
I mean, but even he is though.
He was the champ.
He is, yeah.
Like he's earned that for sure.
Yeah.
And
he had one of the biggest upsets in UFC history. Then fought like it was not a like amazing fight, but it was a really good
really
fight,
close fight,
close fight that I thought he won. And then if let's say he like finishes Costa late this weekend, it's like what's he supposed to do?
Even this matchmaking, it was fun matchmaking, so I understand. But even like Costa's coming off a loss.
Yeah.
Like has beat like if he wasn't like a big name, this fight would never be made. And Strickland's just the kind of guy that he'll just take any fight. He like doesn't give a fuck. So you kind of know you can do this with it.
That's the thing. I was gonna say, like, what if they even went the Chimaev route? I don't think Strickland would be like, oh, like he would say, fuck you guys, like I deserve it. But it's not like he's like gonna get mad and leave the company. Like he's gonna accept whatever the next fight you
told
offer
him like we're going a different way, like Chimaev's the fight.
Yeah,
he would do it.
Yeah,
he would definitely do it.
I mean, yeah. But do you think if Chimaev wins, his next fight's for the belt?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think they wouldn't do a Strickland Chimaev. They fight
That'd
right near each other. They could fight later in the year and be like, "This is the number one contender fight on Abu Dhabi."
I did think that would be awesome.
You know what? I guess the only reason I don't think that'll
what do
happen.
You do with the title then?
Well, DDP fights Izzy, and if DDP wins, DDP gets the winner of Strickland against Chimaev.
I just think if whoever wins DDP and Izzy in August, you're making them wait a long time to resolve the number one contender thing.
No, number one contender could be solved 2 months after the DDP Izzy. They fight in Abu Dhabi.
True, in October.
I'm just
no, that's true. That's a good point.
Maybe
I'm like all over the place right now.
Yeah.
We're all over the place, but it's like I'm kind of doing the meme of
always
it's like here. But do you like that ever? No.
Yeah, I just don't know if they.
We're also saying a lot of ifs right now.
Yeah,
like these things
a lot of
happen.
ifs.
All
this
ifs.
Weekend. Yeah.
I just don't know if they want to wait because I think I agree with Rob. I was gonna say Robbie's is a point where it's like there'd be kind of be no one left. Like I feel like you'd almost be clearing out two contenders at once.
Yeah.
When you kind of use both of them. What I was gonna say too is I just don't think they make Whitaker like fight again. When if you remember, he was literally promised a title shot off beating Usman
Yeah.
and didn't get it.
Yeah.
So I feel like to do that to him again,
yeah.
to do that to again after beating like a former, like now there'd be no excuse where last time it was Usman, he was off the couch. He's a 170 pounder. Now you're beating a former 185 champion who's coming off a win. And his only like recent losses are to the two guys fighting for the belt or about to fight for the belt.
And then Strickland could just get, let's say, Cannonier beats him off. The Cannonier wins on the 8th. You could say, Strickland, you didn't beat him. You kind of got gifted the title shot. You have to beat Cannonier again to get another title shot.
And now that's what I'm saying. Cannonier's in the mix if he wins, or obviously Imavov would be if he won, regardless. But
and then Brendan Allen's in a weird spot too, but he lost to Strickland like convincingly.
Yeah,
but that was a different Brendan Allen.
But also what I think they will do if it goes the other way, where like if Whitaker wins, then I think they just go Strickland Whitaker #1 contender fight.
Yeah.
And I almost think their hope, even though it's weird because Whitaker's lost to like both the guys, so it's kind of weird. But I think if you beat Costa and then beating Hamzat, you'd be pretty like undeniable.
Yeah.
If you beat Costa, Hamzat, and then Strickland back to back,
yes,
like you earned your way back.
Yeah.
Regardless of losing to DDP and Izzy the way he has.
Before we actually break down the 301 card, which again we're all going to be at, so if you're going to be there in Newark, make sure to come say what up. I don't know where we'll be necessarily. I'll probably be Octagon side. You guys have your tickets yet?
No, I'm going Game Time. Shout out Game Time.
Game Time.
So I'll get them this week.
But of course, we got to remind you about DraftKings. UFC 302 is bringing the Octagon back to Newark for the 10th time, 10th ever show in Newark. And while I can't guarantee there will be 10 times the action, I can say this: you do not want to miss out on any of the action over at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the UFC. It's a banger of a card with lightweight, middleweight, and welterweight matchups all set to take place in the Octagon. New to DraftKings, listen up. New customers can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,500. Just make a minimum deposit of $5, and you'll get a bonus bet back in the amount of your original bet if your first bet doesn't hit. That's up to $1,500. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the code BACKFIST, all caps, BACKFIST. It's code BACKFIST for new customers to get a no-sweat bet up to $1,500 if your first bet doesn't hit. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Great stuff. And, of course, we're going to break down the card and hopefully get you some picks, get you some bets.
And we're going to have a spinning back fist parlay on DraftKings this weekend for the card.
Look out for that.
We'll cook up, I'm sure, at the end. We'll do it probably at the end. We'll cook it up live.
And it'll be like selectable with the rest of them. Steve-O, whoever else has a bet. There you go. Shout out DraftKings. Thank you for sponsoring the show, as always.
I'm excited. I think this is a good card.
This is a good card, yeah.
And like you talked about, though, we were kind of spoiled with how good like 298, 299, 300 were. 301 was expectedly not as good. I think it's not as good as 298 to 300, but better than 301.
Almost like back on track, on like the main level of what we would expect.
Really like the main card, like the prelims as well. The prelims, I think, are 4 like very exciting fights.
Yeah, the main card has a lot of like big personalities too, which is like good after the last card being a Cejudo Aljamain card. Like putting a lot of big names on this card was a nice move from the UFC. All right. Let's get into it. Mitch Raposo versus Andre Lima kicks the card off in the flyweight division. I'll get the odds pulled up as well. But Ev, you said
Lima's minus like 215, 218. Raposo's plus 180.
But you really like this fight, you said.
I do. I think it's going to be exciting. I mean, for people to forget, Lima was the one who was bitten. And
that's right.
In the arm.
In the arm.
The tattoo I got bit bonus.
Yeah.
I weirdly kind of almost want to take a shot at Raposo. Raposo was on that season of the Ultimate Fighter. He lost his like the exhibition fight that he was on. He was on Dana White Contender Series. He lost to Jake Hadley, who's had some like solid weight. And also who fought overweight in that fight, in the Contender Series fight. Has had some good wins in the UFC. He's a very, very good striker. Had some big finishes since he got I guess not cut, since he didn't get a contract. Lima's a little younger, I believe.
Yeah,
they're both like on the younger side. Lima, like I do think Lima has fought probably better competition, just like looking off like face, like just record wise, like he's fought some guys with some more experience. But I just feel like even the fight he was in with Severino, the biter, it was really close the whole time. A lot of action, like they were just throwing caution to the wind. So I feel like in a fight like that,
He was probably losing that fight right before the bite.
it was really close. I was kind of surprised at the bite. Like people were saying it was like a way out. I thought it was.
I didn't
close
think it was
as
a way
hell.
out at all.
I didn't think so either. I thought the fight was crazy close. I think he just kind of like blacked out.
Yeah.
I don't know what he did. He just gotten like just such
He saw
anger.
red, yeah.
He just saw red and just bit. Was willing to do anything to win.
Still so cool.
Yeah, but I kind of think like there's going to be a firefight, and I feel like just taking like a sizable underdog. I feel like I kind of like him here. And he's a finisher.
Yeah, he has a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's definitely, his wins are against like low level competition, but it's tough when you look at who he's fighting. Like he's taking care of who he needs to take care of. If I had to bet this, I'd take the underdog. I'm probably going to take it off. Looking at it's over 2.5 minus 160. I don't hate, but yeah, the only thing I don't love taking overs in the first fight of the night, because I think the UFC does kind of put it as we like to start the night off with a bang.
Definitely.
And so yeah, I'm betless here, but I
That's a
understand.
thing. Do you think that's a thing, Dana? Like, or the matchmakers
Yes.
consciously think about?
Yes.
Is the
At
placement
least
card?
like what I've noticed. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to
Like-
interview the matchmakers about how they like put together cards one day.
Like if you really wanted, like if you were really doing it from a perspective of, worst fight first,
yeah.
Eileen Perez, Jocelyn Edwards would be the worst
Without-
fight first.
I've noticed.
Yeah.
I've noticed him been doing it more and more. Where like the first fight of the night, a lot of times it's even better than like the 3-4 fights
Yeah.
after.
And it's not. It's usually like a banger.
Because even with 300, where like obviously like, every fight was a banger, but they put like Garbrandt Figueiredo for a
Yep.
reason first.
Yeah.
And I've noticed they've done that. I feel like more and
They
more.
want
the last,
people
like,
in
couple
their
years.
the longer you're in your seats, the more likely you are to buy merch and
Yeah,
drinks.
for
and,
sure. You just get there earlier, like a fight you
And-
don't want to miss.
I think they know finish clips, obviously, on social
True.
media
Yep.
do so well. It's a great reminder to people
that the
just on
fights are actually
social
on.
that the fights are happening.
Yeah.
And it's not a pay-per-view finish, so they post it everywhere.
Yep.
That's a great point. That's actually a really good point. I hadn't thought about that.
Then, like we mentioned, the Perez versus Jocelyn Edwards fight. Perez she's becoming a name in the UFC.
Yeah.
Kinda.
OnlyFans is popping, they're saying.
Oh, is it?
We had some people in the chat saying that.
Nice. Glad
She
to hear
does
it.
have
Good for her.
OnlyFans.
I think we announced it on the podcast, didn't we? Because I got a press release about it. Or was that someone else? Wasn't it before her last fight? She announced she had an OnlyFans.
Maybe.
That from what the chat was saying before, she's quite the promoter, apparently.
Good for her.
So she's out there doing the damn thing.
Pretty heavy favorite in this fight too, minus 198.
I kind of like Jocelyn Edwards here.
Do you?
I do too a little bit. I
Oh,
was
really?
curious Jack's take on it. I kind of do too.
No disrespect. I feel like she
Like
stinks.
to me,
Yeah, but
like, do you think she's able to get like wrestling going? Like
no, I think like if Eileen Perez can't get the takedowns going, it's Jocelyn Edwards all day.
that's what I'm saying.
Really?
And Jocelyn Edwards she's got
She's
got
long.
legs. I've always said long legs are hard to take down. They have
Yeah.
wide base,
Yeah.
hard to lift them up. And she does listen. If Jocelyn Edwards wins, it'll be a incredibly probably boring fight. But when you're trying to make money, that doesn't matter.
No.
Jocelyn Edwards beat Loopy. Remember, it was like short notice. Loopy
Was that at one? Was up a weight?
was up a weight, but still,
Because Jocelyn Edwards is much bigger than her physically.
did she?
I guess she's got wins. She's got wins where she missed weight twice, I think. She lost to Jessica Rose Clark. She lost to Carol Rosa.
So then, sorry, she
Just
didn't
lost to
beat
Nora.
I would say Loopy's small. I wouldn't say Loopy's so much smaller than her. Like Loopy's a flyweight.
I feel like Jocelyn Edwards. I don't know if she's got one like impressive win on her resume.
I will say there is some concern here from the Jocelyn side that Eileen comes out and just like dismantles her, like takes her down and just like goes for the finish. Maybe the under's not an awful play here.
Because Jocelyn Edwards
Unders
the
plus
thing-
280.
The thing I like about Edwards is she uses like that little front, like that teep kick as like almost like a jab.
Yeah.
And I've seen her win fights off that. And I feel like this is a spot where, like Jack said, if Perez can't get a takedown, I could see her just like those like little teep kicks just to death, jabs to death. So that's kind of where I'm at, where I think it's worth it. Maybe take a stab at her plus like I think it's 164 right now on DraftKings, where, and really just principle at lower level MMA. I just prefer to like give me, especially women's lower level women's
dog,
MMA.
yeah.
Give me the dog.
And you're not going to lay him minus 200. Yeah.
I don't feel confident. She's not that good.
Also, Eileen Perez, if I remember correctly, like she kind of faded in the third round in one of her recent fights. And I think Edwards, I mean, if you can't get the takedowns going, and Edwards, as you were saying, jab, 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 long legs, it could really, or maybe this is a sign from God not to.
Apologies for the sirens. They're just constant in seventh half. I'm sure it's coming through.
They just really want to bet Jocelyn Edwards.
Yeah.
I don't blame them.
That is the banger fight siren. We light that on for banger fights. Then we've got Mickey Gall, Jersey's own, as we mentioned earlier, against Basil Hafez, who is minus 355 here.
We haven't seen Hafez since the JDM fight, right?
It's been a long time, yeah. And how long ago was that?
I still think he should have got that decision. It was really close.
Basil.
He fared incredible. He came basically. He was training, so I would say all the good. But he got a late it
was last July.
It was like 7 days notice.
Yeah,
maybe it was even less. I forgot. It was. Remember, because the guy that was supposed to fight JDM, then he had the brain thing.
Oh, that's right.
And then Hafez ended up filling it after that.
That was weird, yeah.
And there's a few. I know he trains with like Gaethje and some other guys in like Colorado, and they swear he's legit as fuck.
Oh, he was supposed to fight Preston Parsons in January and backed out.
That makes sense why he hasn't fought in so long.
Yeah,
but they swear by him. He's legit. I thought he looked very legit in the fight with JDM.
Yeah,
for a guy that fought was on literally like a few days' notice or whatever it was. Cardio was good. Wrestling was good. I actually thought he fared much better in the striking, considering how much of a gap there was between him and JDM.
Mm-hmm.
I think he rolls. Like, I just don't. I think he showed at least enough to me in that fight, and now he's getting a full camp.
These two actually had a grappling match before,
and it was really early on, right?
Yeah, and Hafez beat Mickey Gall. There's a photo. Yeah, I mean, unless Mickey Gall, like, what's Mickey Gall been doing the past few years?
Yeah, has he gotten better? Has he had one of those outside of the UFC?
I think Hafez just rolls. Man.
No, Mickey Gall hasn't fought since he got cut from the UFC.
Yeah, that's like I feel like this is like, hey, UFC, or hey, Hafez, you did us a favor with JDM. Yeah. Here, it's kind of a test like
Jersey, so it's kind of an excuse.
But it's like, let's get you a win here, and then we'll give you a real opponent now.
That's weird. Well, I know we talked about this when the fight got announced, though. It's weird that Mickey Gall got a shot back in the UFC. Probably just because it's Jersey,
which is so weird though. Like,
it's been 2 years and he was 0-2 in his last two. He's done nothing since.
You know, I talked about before, like the looking for a fight thing. I think there's some people, especially in people in the minds like Dana. I know it's even with Dave here. It happens sometimes when you have that visual of someone, it just kind of sticks in your head. I'm telling you,
yeah.
He went to that local fight. It was like, what's going on? And that's like Mickey Gall, Jersey.
Yeah,
let's do it. Hafez needs a dub.
He really does have a crazy resume. He
fought Mike Perry.
Dude, he fought Mike Perry, Diego Sanchez, Sage Northcutt, Randy Brown, CM Punk, Mike Jackson. Like, all of these, like, he was supposed to fight Carlos Condit and Alex Oliveira.
He fought Mike Malott too.
Fought Mike Malott, yeah. Fought Alex
Just
Morono eventually.
What a run.
What a run.
And what's he, like, 30?
Or
is he a little older than that? Maybe
his age isn't.
I thought he was pretty young when he fought.
32.
Okay, 32.
Yeah,
but I think Hafez is better everywhere in my opinion. Grappler, stronger, better. I think he's a better striker. Hits harder.
Yeah,
I think he just clears them.
Even Hafez by KO may be interesting.
Yeah.
Then onto the normal prelims, we've got Nico Price versus Alex Morono. Alex Morono minus 238. Nico Price 195. I like Nico Price. Always have as a fighter. I don't know if he could like pull out a win in this fight.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really exciting fight. I think Morono probably knocks him out.
Yeah,
because this Price is really tough, but when the chin goes, it goes. I mean, that Robbie Lawler fight. I mean, Robbie obviously hits hard as hell, but I mean, he just folded that was crazy.
Yeah,
it was almost like Robbie didn't even know what happened.
I watched that at Frankie's wedding.
It was like he's like, what? Look down and say, oh, all right, he's out. But I think Morono's getting a little older too. But
how old is Morono at this point?
Because he's got to be like is he mid-30s? Close at least.
Probably is 35, maybe.
I was guess
33. Yeah.
All right. So
the Great White.
But yeah, I think he probably gets a knockout here. I wouldn't. He's a big price tag, so I don't know if I'd like. Maybe if you want to get two together, maybe a little Hafez Morono parlay, that might still be probably juiced a little bit, but I think they both get it done. I like Morono.
Morono faces a lot of like guys like this. Tim Means, Cowboy Cerrone, like
Yep.
older guys that are
Since
going to go out there and brawl with them.
Ponzinibbio,
Yeah.
that's when I always feel so bad for him. He was fighting his ass off and just beating the hell out of him. Just got clipped at like the very
The
end.
third round, right? Yeah.
I think it was one even. I'm pretty sure. I think he might have taken it late too. And I remember Dana getting on the press conference being like, we gave him like fight night bonus and we're giving him like his win money. Like he hooked him.
Yeah.
He really hooked him up.
Do you have any bets on this one, Jack? Morono?
I just Morono just always disappoints me. Even when he wins, he disappoints me. So I feel like I'm just gonna like, if anything, maybe Nico Price is a little bit like, you're buying low on him. But Morono, I feel like he's just the least athletic guy ever. And if he gets that jab going and just, I could see him getting maybe even some late round props. I'll look into later in the week. I could see maybe round 2, round 3, but those kind of like aren't as good as they once were. So I guess we'll see, but I don't have a huge inkling for this fight because Morono's just, I've learned my lesson with Morono.
Then the next fight, we've got Phil Rowe versus Jake Matthews. Phil Rowe, the underdog, plus 136. Matthews, minus 162. I really like Matthews. He's been one of my Australian favorites for a while, but the most, like, win one, lose one, win one, lose one, win one, lose one. If you were to go based on win one, lose one, he's due for a win, right? He lost his last one to Rodriguez Morales. And then before that, he beat Flowers. Before that, he lost to Semmisberger. Before that, he beat Fiallo. Before that, he lost to Brady. Before that, he beat Sanchez. It is crazy. I do think he can pull this one out, but it's like Phil Rowe's the kind of guy I could see beating Jake Matthews, so I don't know what to do with this one.
Me either. I also think I feel like I want to bet Jake Matthews, but this is a long flight, man. He's coming from Australia all the way to New Jersey. That's even further than they're used to. That's a lot to get used to. Phil Rowe, is he from Brooklyn?
I think he is. I think he's a New York guy.
I don't know where he trains out of. He's always, I mean, when you look at Phil Rowe, you kind of look at him and you're like, this guy should be better than he actually is.
He's got the length on.
He has the length is crazy, but Jake Matthews isn't like, I like Jake Matthews, so this is a pass for me right now. Maybe Phil Rowe will catch my eye a little bit, or maybe the line will drop. Yeah, I just don't have anything.
He's born in Brooklyn. He trains out of Orlando with Fusion Excel Performance.
God, yeah, I was curious to get your guys' takes on this. To me, this is probably the most confusing fight on the card to bet.
Yeah,
because there's such different body types, different styles. Like Phil Rowe's really long, but we saw even fade where like he lost the decision to Magny.
Phil Rowe, no offense to this guy, he loses a lot of grappling matches. Like he has a lot of grappling matches on his Tapology, and I make no exaggeration when I say he has not won a single one.
That was where part of I feel like
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's 0-6 in grappling matches in the last 3 years.
I almost think this part of me almost appreciates that it seems like he would do that because he's like trying to improve his grappling.
Yeah,
intense. So I guess I can appreciate that. But Matthews, I think should be much better in that realm. Matt, what you said it right with Matthews. He's so like you see a performance like he had the one against Fiallo, and you're like, oh my god, this guy gonna make like a rankings run, and he looks incredible. He did a little shrug after he knocks him out when Fiallo was on his big run, and then like he loses to Semmelsberger, and you're like, what's this guy doing?
Yeah,
and he beats like Flowers, who was a guy like good win, but like
he should.
Guy was making his debut, like not in the same level as a guy like Jake Matthews, been in the UFC for a long time.
Yeah.
There's part of me like. I think almost saying like how you said Morono disappoints you. Phil Rowe, I feel like it's disappointing me sometimes. So I'm really torn. I kind of feel the same way. Like I don't know what to do with it. There's part of me that almost wants to take Phil Rowe, but then I feel like I'm going to look up and he's going to be choked out in the second round.
Yeah, and Jake Matthews, he throws hard, man. So that maybe you could just like Jake Matthews by KO. I don't know. And Phil Rowe has been hurt before. Phil Rowe had that weird fight against Neil Magny where it felt like he won, but he didn't get the decision.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this is a frustrating fight to handicap.
2 fights before that where he actually won against Nico Price and Orion Costa, like missed weight in both of them. He beat Jason Witt, knocked out Jason Witt.
Witt's a legitimate,
made
with
weight.
all due respect, an absolute bum.
Yeah. So,
So is
like,
Orion Cost or whatever.
Yeah,
that guy
like
was.
Yeah,
Witt
he's not in the
legitimately
UFC
has
anymore.
no business in the UFC.
a lot of red on that Tapology page.
I wanted to
with all the
see
grappling
what the
numbers.
price is on they don't have them quite yet on Jake Matthews finish under 2.5 rounds is plus 120.
Some-
I don't hate that.
yeah.
I want to see when it's early in the week, so we're doing.
I could even see all that grappling paying off for Phil Rowe, and then he kind of gets maybe a choke in on Matthews, and Matthews goes to sleep. But still, yeah, I think Matthews has faced Matthews, and I feel like Matthews goes for it a little bit more. So
if Matthews ends up being like 4-1 or worse by sub, I think I'd have to consider that.
The next fight, 4-1, basically. Grant Dawson, minus 410. Joe Zeleski, plus 320, almost. Joe Zeleski, plus 320. Usually on these cards, they'll like to give the hometown guy a favorable matchup. I don't know what they were cooking with this one.
But Joe Zeleski is moving up in weight.
Oh, is he for this one?
I mean, or no, am I thinking of
Zeleski's last fight was
am I
close.
crazy? Didn't Diego Lopez knock him out in New York?
Mm-mm.
who?
Who am I getting?
Selecki?
No, you're
who
thinking
am I mixing up?
Sabatini.
Sabatini.
Yeah.
They are
There
they
you go,
they-
the Italian.
Similar
S
style,
name,
the last
like,
name.
yeah.
Okay, gotcha. That makes
Selecki's
my
last
wires
fight
crossed
was
for a second.
getting slammed by Drakkar
Yes. It was almost like when I said it, and then I thought I was like,
R.
wait, he fought in. I was like, yeah. Dawson coming off a bad knockout. Bobby Green. He hasn't fought
Yeah.
since the Bobby Green fight, right?
True.
That was the main event. Everyone's like, oh my God, this. He was minus like 500.
Yeah,
He got knocked out in 30 seconds.
Yeah. But still, like, Joe Zeleski doesn't have any chance of beating him.
I don't think so. Because, I mean, even the fight before that, I mean, the grabbing display he put on against Ismagulov, I thought was like tremendous.
Yeah.
Dawson, that fight was awesome.
Also, he's a guy that he got caught by Bobby Green. It was tough. And I know there's something like Magic is like Grant Dawson's #1 hater of all time, which is like Magic has just the weirdest.
Magic has a roster of people he hates on, you know?
Which is kind of like Rico in a way. He has a lot of enemies and whatnot, which that's why we love him. But, you know, Grant Dawson, I follow him on the Instagram. I mean, all he does is like fight. He's in ATT all the time. I think he's married to a female fighter. I forget her name. She fights in regional MMA. That's the only thing he cares about. And I think he's a guy that could bounce back off of that L very easily. And then also it's just, I mean, I think he's much better than Joe Zeleski. It's a big price. I don't hate him within a parlay. He may be featured in our parlay.
That's I was gonna say parlay piece.
Definitely.
And I also
maybe a sub prop when it drops.
Yeah, and he was kind of like a decision merchant at points, and then it kind of got flipped on him because obviously Bobby Green finished him on that round 1, but still, I'm looking at Grant Dawson and thinking I think he just gets it done this weekend. And I know that's not that big of a take because I mean he's minus 410 right now. Interestingly enough, there was over minus 1.5, minus 190s out there early in the week, which was crazy. Now it's over 2.5, minus 210. So that line's moved a lot. I think
It's a hell of a snipe if you got that.
Yeah. I did.
I'd be really surprised if this went under 1.5 rounds.
Me too.
Very surprised.
But then again, obviously, like that's baked into the line, obviously. But you could see Dawson take the back and maybe even get something. But he was even against Zumagulov, who, although he's pretty good, like he didn't get the finish there, right?
No.
He almost did, but he didn't. But yeah, Grant Dawson, and I don't hate the guy. I think he's fine. He's a fine guy.
Then we've got Cesar Almeida versus Roman Kopylov.
I don't know what to do here.
Almeida minus 115. That surprised me when I saw it.
It's wild.
Well, so they're thinking it's just going to be a kickboxing fight, right?
Which I'd be shocked.
Cesar beat Potan, I think, in
kickboxing.
Yeah, I think he did.
I think that was the big hype when he fought in Contender Series.
And
he's only like 4 or 5-0 as an MMA pro.
And
but
he had that fight against what's his name? He won his first fight, but he got taken down a lot in the first round and then finished the guy in the second round. Forget the guy's name.
Oh, it was Budka.
Buka. It was it was funny name.
Dylan Budka.
Dylan Buka. But Kopylov, like Kopilov's just gonna go out there and
I like Kopylov in this fight. Maybe I'm crazy for that.
I'm worried about it because that was my like knee jerk, and then I do this more with other sports. I know MMA, but it was one of those. I was like, I feel like that's exactly what they want. That's what they want.
Yeah.
Because you see that and you're like, oh, Kopylov, like he's got some good wins in the UFC, blah blah.
He's fought recently. You know, I know he didn't win against that.
And to me, he lost to the grappler, but I don't think we'll see any grappling from either of them in this fight.
Probably not.
Which is why I get the line, because when you see like two high level kickboxers like that both hit hard on that, you're thinking it's kind of like a 50-50-ish fight, which the line
I think if Kopilov's name was Copeland, I think this line would be a lot different. Like, who's his best win in the UFC?
Yeah, I mean he's beaten Ribeiro, who's like whatever. He's beaten
Josh Fremd.
I think that's his best win.
Like,
and then like
whatever.
Cesar,
Jeez, you're right.
Cesar
That's a good point.
Never got knocked down in kickboxing, so it's like that is something you got to consider here. And if he gets his kickboxing going, Kopylov, Kopylov, I mean, if he comes out here with some crazy grappling, obviously we saw him against Fluffy. That's not really a great comp because I mean, like if
Fluffy's elite,
yeah, but
great cardio and all
great cardio. But I think like Cesar could get it going. And I also think the UFC's kind of like, we may have something here with Cesar, where it's like if he beats Kopylov, then it's like it's like kind of a big name, and you can kind of build him up a little bit more. I'm not saying he's going to be fighting for the belt or anything, but they're like, hey, we had something here with Poton, and it's not the same level, but we kind of have like a former Glory kickboxing champ beat Poton. You can sell that.
I can already picture like, sure, this man beat Alex Pereira like, in kickboxing. He is
not a lot
real.
of people know this, but
saying it so excited to tell you.
Yeah,
like we've been told.
You don't understand. He's a fucking savage.
Beat Alex Pereira at his own game
in the ring. Randy Brown and Zeleski dos Santos kick off the main card.
I think this is an awesome fight.
It is.
Like,
Randy Brown, the favorite,
minus
175.
Randy Brown.
Yep, he's going to get the New York pop for sure. And hopefully the place will be filled out by then. I think it probably will be. I think Newark's a pretty good card.
Yeah, for sure.
Or good crowd, I should say.
Zeleski dos Santos is really good. This is a good fight.
I wonder plus 150. Here.
I know. That's why I'm torn between. It's like the younger guy who's really athletic and long, or this guy who I think is probably just more well-rounded MMA guy.
Yeah,
and a good striker, like tough, has some good wins. He just went to a draw against Renat, who I think Renat's a stud.
I don't know how he didn't finish that. Remember that? He was
on top
of him with, like, it looked like Renat was dead.
And let's remember, this is the man who almost, I know, is at 170. It's not his natural weight class for BSD, but was beating BSD to a pulp.
Oh yeah,
at 170. Who I like take away. Like I said, BSD was up a weight class. I want to say it might even been short notice, but so like dos Santos has some really good wins. Been in the UFC for a long time. Has fought some really good guys, and I think no matter who wins this fight, I think the winner of this fight is going to get like a top 15 like big fight potentially.
I don't have a bet here yet, but I am kind of thinking maybe Randy Brown just rolls here. He has so Randy Brown's striking is really good.
It is good, very good,
and he's going to have the reach advantage if he can, like I think 5 or 6 inches, if he can get that going. Also, Zeleski's 38.
Yep,
he's getting old, and I also think this is a big spot for Randy Brown. That being said, you have to pay the favorite price here. I haven't placed anything yet. At this point in time on Tuesday at 153, I am leaning towards Randy. We'll see if it's on my card, but I think I close my eyes. I envision him just like he gets the striking going, and he finds a way to even maybe not finish him because Zeleski's tough, but he wins via decision.
Like you said, Ev, he's been in the UFC since 2015 too. That's crazy.
Who?
Zeleski.
It feels like longer than that.
2015. It's been almost 10 years.
For some reason, I feel like you just say 2015. It's hard to process. It's almost 10.
I know. 2018, he knocked out Sean Strickland in the very first round. People forget.
He's a good fighter.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Like to me, like going to a draw against Renat was very impressive. Like the fact like you said, had him hurt and was doing like.
I mean, he almost finished him in that third round. Like I think it was a liver shot. Saw it on Twitter yesterday. and he was on top of him. And I think the ref could have stopped it because it was one of those that was like Renat wasn't going out, but he was barely fighting back, and he was on top for like a minute and like 30 seconds. So this is good. That's a really great fight, especially to end the prelims on a pay-per-view card that's not like the greatest pay-per-view card ever. Very, very good matchmaking.
The next 3 fights on the card are interesting because they're all exciting fights from a name perspective, but I think there's a chance all 3 of them will be pretty dominant. The odds certainly suggest as much. The first one being Jailton Almeida versus Alexander Romanov. Almeida minus 265. I think rightfully so. Like, are you gonna? I know he's your guy, but are you gonna lay minus 265? You're gonna look for a drop?
Maybe a parlay piece. I was looking at
Knockout.
I was looking at decision was plus 300. But the only thing that scares me because Romanov just gasses so badly, so I could see a word where like it's like competitive in the first round, and then at one point late second, or Almeida's just on top of him, just like beating the shit, just like raining or gets a choke or whatever. Because he's even though I think Romanov will be the better grappler of like these big, huge guys he's fought, but he's still shown the strength to like ragdoll guys that are 260.
Yeah,
like he's shown that ability. So I'll at least have him like in a parlay for sure, Almeida. And I'll probably try to look for like some type of prop. But yeah, I think this is our run back to the top. This is where it starts. We're getting back on track here. We're gonna smash Romanov in Jersey, and we're gonna get back on track.
On anything here?
Yeah, I think I want to see Romanov on the scale, see if he's fit or not. I do think Jailton inside the distance. It seems kind of square, but I feel like although people will say, "Oh, like he didn't even finish Lewis." Lewis is a tough guy, and I think Romanov, if he was in those situations, would have quit. Lewis decided early in that fight he wasn't quitting unless he really got choked out or whatnot. And Jailton throws tough. It throws some really nasty ground and pound. And if you can get him down, it'll be interesting though, because like if Romanov stuffs the takedowns, Jailton could be in an interesting spot. But it's not like Romanov's great on the feet or anything.
That's why I feel confident. If Almeida, if he was like a big power puncher with his like grappling, at least like his like first round grappling for Romanov, I'd feel more scared. But even if I think like eventually, even that's what I'm saying, I think it'll be competitive early because like he might be able to hold it off early, but I think eventually he'll just. But I agree with you. I also want to see Romanov on the scale because we've seen him, but also I feel like we've seen him come in and look skinnier and then almost look worse. Yeah. So I don't even know what to like.
Yeah, the only thing I like, if he looks like he did prior to that Volkov fight, it's like, all right, Jailton's gonna kill him.
Yeah,
because he was big Romanov then. You could really see that. I want him to see him look like a kind of fit, not like depleted, but just a kind of fit. But I mean, Jailton, those, even though he lost the blades, the takedown early, and it was a dominant early first round, and then he just got caught in those when he went in for
elbow, like the hammer.
Yeah, but and he was. So I think he should like be able to take down.
That's why I feel like if he could go in there and like kind of throw around Blades, like why can't he do that to Romanov?
Yeah, and I think Blades is real, and I really rate Blades takedown defense high and Blades high overall. And that loss, I think it was just like that will only make Jailton, I think, can rebound from that pretty easily. It's he's fighting for the interim belt in a few months.
And then almost the exact same odds: Kevin Holland versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Holland minus 265, Oleksiejczuk plus 215. Holland coming off 2 like frustrating losses and performances where he just seemed like he wasn't like he wouldn't unload, he wouldn't pull the trigger. So to see him at minus 265, like if I was looking at both Almeida and Holland, I feel way more confident in Almeida getting the job done in his fight. I do still think Holland's going to beat Oleksiejczuk. I feel like this will be his rebound fight.
Yeah, I obviously. Holland going back up to 185 for the first time in a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. Like I bet on him his last 2. They were incredibly frustrating performances. Honestly, Venom, I think it was less like my MVP was less pulling the trigger. I think he was truly outclassed in that fight.
Yeah.
JDM, I actually don't feel he was like outclassed.
And did we mention MVP and Ian Gary's official? Did we talk about that?
Oh, maybe not. Maybe not.
That's the 303. Not the co-main.
So I think they're gonna. It's
Jamal.
Yeah, Jamal's gonna be coming.
Yeah.
But
which they posted. Did you see Sean Strickland and Jamal sparring?
Yeah, I did.
That was crazy. It was kind of crazy to just post that one clip of him punching Jamal.
I was gonna say it was on just him getting
literally one clip, like 5 seconds of the sparring footage. That was a little weird.
I was
not like Sean Strickland either.
Yeah, because
Sean Strickland isn't the kind of guy to post like that.
Oh, so you saw he has a like an emotional support animal now?
Sean Strickland?
Yeah,
Wait,
Oh,
what?
dude, he had some. Everyone needs to watch the countdown.
countdown. Yes,
The countdown. He has just some like great quotes. He's like, yeah, like sometimes need to be a man, stop being a pussy, and just suppress that shit.
Yeah,
It's like
He's an emotional support dog?
I
didn't-
don't know if I would fully call it emotional support.
he
though.
pretty much was like,
Which, no disrespect
well,
if you have one, it just
He
doesn't
ba-
seem
he
like Sean
basically
Strickland.
He basically did the thing after he made fun of Dave with it. He's like, yeah, what do you do when you're like not married, like don't have any kids, like you get a dog to fill the void. Like pretty much was
Like,
what he
he
said.
came after Miss Beaches and then got a dog?
yeah.
He's a little
fucked up.
husky. Good looking
It's fucked
dog.
I'm gonna.
I love
tweet it out
dogs.
to
So
my
he
breakfast.
literally puts the dog doesn't like water. And I guess like I was weird because I thought all dogs could swim. But apparently
I
his-
like that. I see.
So he literally bought a water vest.
A life vest?
Life vest that's what I'm looking for the dog. And puts it in the water so it like gets better and like at swimming.
That's funny.
It's just hilarious to see as he's Sean Strickland. He has a little pool in his backyard.
Yeah.
And just seeing him like
Life vest
just
dog.
seeing him like strap up the life, like buckle it for him, and then
What the
like
fuck?
put him in.
This
He's
guy,
like,
you can't predict him. He truly is like the least predictable man in the world.
And then they have this hilarious montage of him just walking. I just picture whenever I watch these things, I picture like the producers like telling him like, "Oh, I got this great vision for you." They literally have him. You bring him out to like obviously he lives in Vegas. Bring him out to like the desert. He's just walking in like with his dog with boots, or not boots, actually jeans, sandals with like the toe thing, like, in the middle, like
Yeah.
sandals,
The toe thong.
jeans, like a tank top, walking his dog, which is a pistol in a holster. It's just-
He's unbelievable.
it's so fucking.
He's the go.
With just like slow mo, and they're like Sean Strickland, like unfortunately, like coming up controversial loss like, in Toronto, and they like flash back to like the decision and Dana being like,
Yeah.
I had it. I personally, I had the 2-2 in the last round. I had it Strickland. It's just so fun. I just love the way they like use him for like
That's
marketing
wild.
and stuff. It's great.
You never know what Sean
So
Strickland's
good.
gonna do next.
So good.
He is in the co-main event minus
I
245.
didn't even say the
Oh yeah.
Holland. I feel like should win, but the last two performances, I like am like I'm not laying this price. I
No.
can't. I,
But then like all the
I can't do it.
yeah, I'm not gonna do it. Oleksiejczuk also kind of weird. His last fight, he was like, I'm not really training anymore. I just kind of like
That's
yeah,
right. And he
like-
got fucking ran through.
Yeah,
He's like, I just
Legit
kind
ran
of like
through.
hang out with my friends and whatnot, or like spar with my friends. So it's a very weird. Who do you take here? What's the under?
Plus 120, 1.5 rounds.
If we could get like under 2.5, or what kind of like that. In the
Yeah,
parlay,
me. I
fight
could definitely see Holland knocking him out like that one, or even
Yeah.
choking him.
Yes.
Even choking him would not surprise
Like
me.
I feel like I really do feel like
under
there's gonna be
2.5
his
minus
rebound fight.
200. I kind of like in the parlay.
Yeah,
I think one
Yeah.
of these guys, like Oleksiejczuk, is a guy who just goes for it, and Holland throws back. Like he's not gonna. Sorry, I just got like 85 emails at once. He's not a guy who's gonna back away.
Hope not.
So, but I'm with you. If you're laying Holland, and I will say though, I was gonna say you're crazy if you're laying Holland minus 265, but you could look like an absolute genius. He could go in there and
Yeah.
look minus 1,000, minus
Yeah.
4,000.
I might see what's a Holland sub prop.
I don't know. Do they have it? Plus 275.
I
On
wanted like a
DraftKings
little bit
Sportsbook.
more, but and like
Also,
Alexa-
will he wrestle?
that's the thing.
Because remember,
But the only thing is, might be the spot where like he's lost his last two.
and he needs
Like
some
maybe like he could use some of that win money. Like,
money.
and I know the UFC pays him well. He's talked about it. I'm sure.
No, you know,
And they love because this fight got made like a few weeks ago.
yeah.
Like I almost thought they just like needed like they wanted to add like
Another
one more
big
big
fight.
fight.
Yeah.
Like let's throw Kevin Holland on it. Like he'll do it.
Yeah.
And then Oleksiejczuk, we know is going to go in there
Yeah,
and
like
bang.
he's down. Yeah, like he's down to throw. He literally, I mean, he just fought. He didn't fight even that long ago, was
you
it?
see that photo of him in Jersey? It was just so random.
Yeah, like getting
Uh,
spotted.
Yeah.
Spotted on the street,
Yeah.
just like a bunch of like teenagers. It's very funny.
I would love to know the whole context behind that picture.
We have to ask Islam about Jersey. Compare it to
What do
San
you think
Francisco.
New Jersey's like?
You know, like because he's been here for like a month.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
I think Ali
Lot of
Abdelaziz
Starbucks.
lives in Jersey.
Would make sense.
In the
Yeah.
countdown there in that house. Obviously, it could be just like a
Oh, when he made him food and they rated him as a chef.
yeah.
He's like, he no make food. He
He no-
just smash up other
And
food.
he goes, "Shh."
Yeah. Sean Strickland versus Paulo Costa, co-main event. Great co-main event. Sean Strickland minus 245, Paulo Costa plus 200. Probably a fight where, again, it's going to stay on the feet. They're just going to box. and Strickland is probably just going to outbox him the whole time.
It's just so simple.
He's going to pressure him, walk him forward, do what he did
I
to
think
Adesanya.
this is Strickland like sort of easy.
Yeah.
And I also think
If Strickland can like break Adesanya's brain, there's no way Paulo Costa.
Like, Costa hasn't even looked that good.
No.
Like he landed a big heel kick against Whitaker, and he beat fucking Luke Rockhold.
Yeah.
Like the corpse of Luke Rockhold. I think Strickland rolls. I think he wins. I think he probably either wins like a 50-45, like a 49-46 decision, or ends up even like a maybe a late finish.
I kind of like him 12-1, 18-1, around 4, around 5.
That's what I'm saying. Like I could see him just like eventually just kind of
like him
landing
in the
enough
parlay,
volume
too.
and yeah,
I like him in the parlay.
It's just
parlay.
Strickland, like,
Feels like an easy win.
This
America.
might even be like a Strickland money line. I feel like that. Even laying like 2.
I'm not against it. I just think
he'll definitely be in the parlay.
Here's the thing. Whitaker really just like took advantage of Costa. I know Costa had that awesome moment where he almost knocked him out with the head kick. But I think Whitaker I know Whitaker's a little bit faster than Strickland and whatnot, but he kind of laid out the game plan just like, and I'll give you got to give Strickland this. He avoids big shots. I know he has been KO'd before, but at least, and this is a guy that's really improved throughout his career just from like all the sparring that he does. And there'll be a point where his chin goes, but like he avoided DDP's big shots. He avoided Izzy's big shots. And I think obviously Pereira knocked him out, which I guess you could see, but that's Potan.
Costa and Pereira.
That fight is truly hilarious. He was like, I'm not afraid to walk him down. Look at this guy. And he was doing well. And he was just kept walking down. And Potan's like, there's no way this guy's doing it. And he literally booped him and he was just dead. It was such a funny, like, I mean, obviously you don't want to
I actually think he kind of learned his lesson from
Yeah.
He's fought much, and even people that are like even like Cannonier hits hard.
Cannonier hits hard, bro.
Which people thought that was like a super close fight.
I thought he won that.
That was the one I almost think he was more mad about that one than the DDP fight. Like he swears to this day, like he's like, I won that fucking fight. Like that's bullshit. And I thought that fight could have went either way too.
I wouldn't be surprised
very close.
Strickland didn't love being champ. It's like too much fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Like I'll just be number one.
Then the main event, the fight we're all here to see. Islam Makhachev defends his title against Dustin Poirier. Makhachev minus 675.
Telling us Habib's telling us how this fight's gonna go.
He is, and
he literally is like, I want it. And then Javier Mendez goes, he can do whatever he wants. He's gonna win how he wants. Habib's like, game plan, round 2, round 3. He's gonna submit him.
He is, and I bet, I'm not even lying, I bet a unit on Makhachev. Round 1 submission, round 2 submission, round 3 submission, round 4 submission, round 5 submission, and I put 4 units on Makhachev via submission.
The line actually literally from in the last like hour and a half changed like kind of drastically in the submission line.
What is it?
It was, so I know you got it plus 110, right? Like
yeah.
It was plus 100 this morning.
Last night, yeah.
It was it's like 2 hours ago it was plus 100. Makhachev by submission is now minus 125. I still would
minus 125.
I still
a good bet.
Great CLV by the fellas.
Round 2, round 3, round 4 submission.
I
got him plus 110.
Yeah, remember?
So
we bet it after Lee told us they just dropped. It was like on a Saturday night.
Yeah, so
June 1st. It was June 1st. Or no, that's the date it's happening. May 5th. May 5th was the day it happened.
So after UFC 301.
Yes.
I will say though, that plus 110 was out there for a while. That was like
it didn't change the plus 100 till like this weekend. I've been keeping an eye on it.
Yeah.
It was plus 110 the last like almost month. Yeah.
Is there any chance that Poirier goes in there and knocks him out?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, there's always like a puncher's chance.
I think it's like around like 6-1.
He's 7-1 by knockout, so you like value. You see the value.
Yeah, I guess. I guess 7-1 is good. Like I mean,
it's plus
750.
Because one of my boys sent it in our group chat this weekend that likes MMA, and he sent it, and it was like Poirier by knockout plus 700 with the little scene in Scarface when him and Sosa are just like laughing on the phone. It's like the money.
Well, now it's going up plus 750.
Ooh, Islam by sub.
Yeah, Islam by sub is
just there. It's my favorite play on the card. Even minus 125, I still like it. Just
Poirier's talking about retirement.
That's how this is what he's going to do. Like this is what Poirier, like when he fights guys like this, he gets choked out. It's not like it was
He almost got choked out by
Obviously,
McGregor. People
was
forget.
the guillotine.
He almost got guillotined by McGregor.
It was
With one leg. That
one
his
leg.
was
His
already
His foot was a balloon.
It was Oliveira did it. Khabib did it. I mean, BSC honestly should have done it.
Yeah.
I think
Did you
Islam by sub.
Did you see what this fight was supposed to be? What BSD's manager said? He said we signed it. If we beat Poirier, this was going to be Islam against BSD.
I figured that.
That would have been sick.
I
Yeah.
figured that. And I mean,
Do you think Islam would have accepted that?
yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. I think he would have. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, I think he matches up pretty well against BSD now that I think about it.
I mean,
We could
I
ask
just
him about it. We could ask him about it later.
Yeah. But he's going to be like, who's Ben Watson?
who
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 is
is
this
this
guy?
guy, brother?
this French guy? You just get here.
All right. Do we want to put together a parlay?
Let's
Yeah.
put Islam by sub.
Islam sub.
Under 2.5.
See
Strickland.
Strickland money line.
Under 2.5. And
Jailton Almeida.
Do we want to put the under 2.5 in that?
Or let's not right now.
I would say here I'll get it so we have like what the odds like.
Yeah,
is,
actually
what
put
the
it
odds
together.
are like. Well, it's so we have Islam by sub.
Islam by sub minus
Then we have-
125.
Then if you add Strickland money line, I would say at least like one more. I feel like 3 legs is. Do we
Almeida?
like Almeida enough? I know I am, but I don't want to.
Those 3 legs are plus 4-7 plus 247.
Would
For
that-
what?
For if you did Almeida money line, Strickland money line, and Makhachev by sub, would be plus 247.
Almeida money line?
Yeah.
Like not even ITD?
Just if you want to add it here, I'll see what it is. ITD Almeida inside the distance would be. He's minus 110 inside the distance.
Also, I kind of like those are all pay-per-view, right?
Later in the card. Yep.
So we can that would be
unless
promote it for a
unless we
while.
want to do, I don't know if we want to basically almost go like full. If you want to do like Holland, and basically,
No,
I
I
don't
want-
feel as good about it.
I don't either. That's
I'd
what I'm
rather do the
saying.
under 2.5 or like the fight doesn't go the distance there.
Unless we did, unless there's one earlier one, but I kind of like doing it on the main card.
I like the main card too.
Unless
Good for business.
Good for
Yeah.
business. Best for business.
Unless we want to do, could we do? How would you guys feel about adding if we did the sub and then like under 2.5
In the main event.
in the main event?
Bro, Oleksiejczuk,
Oh no, you can't. I don't think you can.
I don't think you can combine those.
Yeah, because you'd have to just do sub.
And I also think this is going to go over 1.5, to be honest.
The main event.
It's more just
I
Makhachev.
think it gets in the
It-
round two.
yeah.
I think it's round 2 as well. That's the favorite I is like sub round 2. I think I might do like Islam round 2.
Oleksiejczuk hasn't gone to decision since 2021.
I'm not opposed to that. If we want to, I want to do under. Or what if we did this? What if we did just like fight doesn't go the distance?
I like that.
Yeah.
Instead of like so, if we add fight doesn't go the distance,
And we have 5 bets.
it's 4. Well, if we add fight doesn't go if we have Almeida money line, Holland Oleksiejczuk doesn't go the distance, Strickland money line, Islam by sub, that'd be plus 371
Pretty good.
right now.
And well, what's the other fight on the main event?
Just that Zeleski,
Randy Brown.
Randy Brown, which I'm fine with.
That's in the on the pay-per-view?
Yeah, it's the,
that
it's the
kicks off the
opener. It's the
pay-per-view,
opener.
We don't have to put that in now.
That's what I was gonna, and this would be the top 4 fights on the bill.
Let's do that then. I like that. Plus
I can see-
371.
So the
Probably
official,
get boosted up a little bit.
so the official Almeida money line, Holland's fight doesn't go the distance. So the fight to go the distance, no. Sean Strickland money line, Islam Makhachev to win by sub, all parlayed plus 371.
Before you go, subscribe, like, comment after this goes down.
Look
Got
out for the Islam Makhachev interview.
Islam Makhachev. Shout out everybody. If you're watching on replay, subscribe. We appreciate you guys. We're gonna keep going no matter what. Islam interviews should be fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Look out for that later tonight. All right. See ya.
I'll send it to McCarthy right now.
That is on Zoom, by the way.